President, first of all, I want to thank the Senator from Delaware for his kind words about me and my friend and colleague from Arizona, who I believe is carrying on in the fine tradition of his predecessor, Senator Kyle, in a spirit of bipartisanship and dedication to the people of Arizona. I come to the floor today with my colleague from Arizona to offer a resolution honoring the fallen heroes of the Granite Mountain Interagency Hotshot crew. Yesterday, Senator Flake and I were privileged to attend a memorial ceremony in Prescott, Arizona, honoring the service and sacrifice of the 19 brave men of the Granite Mountain Hotshots who lost their lives last week battling the Yarnell Hill fire in Yavapai County, Arizona. I know I speak for all of my fellow citizens in expressing our gratitude for the Vice President of the United States, who came all the way to Arizona and gave a moving and stirring and wonderful testimony to these brave Arizonans. And I believe it's typical of my friend for so many years, the Vice President of the United States, who he and his wonderful wife would come to Arizona to join us in our efforts to honor these brave men. These were not men merely worth knowing. They were men to admire. They were men to emulate if you have the courage and character to live as decently and honorably as they lived. Not many of us can. But we can become better people by trying to be half as true, half as brave, half as good as they were, and to make our lives, too, count for something more than the sum of our days. The news accounts of their lives and the testimonials to their virtues that have appeared in the days since we lost them give the rest of us a glimpse of what a blessed memory they are to those who knew and loved them. Some of them were the sons of firefighters who grew up wanting to be like Dad, their hero. Some leave behind wives and children. Some were expecting the birth of their first child. Some married their high school sweethearts. Some were engaged and looking forward to being husbands and fathers. 2 were cousins and best friends. 1 rescued horses. 1 aspired to preach the word of God. 1 was a standout ball player. 1 dressed in a yellow raincoat when he was 6 and pretended to put out fires. Some were born in Arizona. Some came from other places and fell right in love with the beauty and people of Arizona. Some were shy. Others were practical jokers. They were all respected and admired, the kind of men who you just like being around. They all loved the outdoors. They were athletic and adventurous. They loved their jobs. They wanted to serve others. They wanted to make a difference. They all had a purpose greater than themselves. They were all young, so young. They were all brave, so brave. They were all loved and were loved, so loved. And they will all be missed, so terribly missed. I will forever be touched by what their families and friends have told me about them and how much they meant to them and their communities. Their stories teach us how to be better people. Their loss reminds us to hold each other a little tighter, to love each other a little harder. I will always consider myself disadvantaged for not having known them. From the little I know about hope in the face of daunting challenge and the indomitability of the human spirit that is so vital to helping us keep our faith and to endure, I hope I can offer some solace when I say the courage of those who we honor today is immortal. It does not perish with them. How they lived and what they did will inspire others to live courageously, purposefully, selflessly. Of these qualities, we tend to see merely flashes throughout our lives. In these brave men of the Granite Mountain HOTSHOTS, we see grand examples, sublime, shining, and unforgettable examples that will summon good men and women today and long after our time is past to live bravely and compassionately and honorably. In a fierce and terrifying encounter with extreme danger, they stood their ground like the heroes they were and fought for their community. While they did not come home to the people who loved them so much and will miss them always, I firmly believe we will see them again in the better world that is to come. Until then, we fondly remember the humanity and the heroism of these brave men, their wonderfully unassuming, down-to-earth nature, all of their marvelous imperfections known only to their closest family and friends, and how in the face of dire peril, they rose beyond all that makes us merely ordinary and let God cradle them in his arms and carry them away. The lost men of the Granite Mountain HOTSHOTS died having taught us all how to live, and for that, as we honor them and pay our respects to their loved ones today, I should submit we should all find great solace. Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent the Senate proceed to the consideration of S-Res 193 submitted earlier today.
Clerk will report.
Senate Resolution 193, honoring the fallen heroes of the Granite Mountain Interagency Hotshot Crew.
Is there objection to proceeding to the measure? Without objection, the Senate will so proceed.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent the resolution be agreed to, the preamble be agreed to, the motion to reconsider be laid upon the table with no intervening action or debate.
Without objection.
Mr. President, I yield the floor.